Well, hello there. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Here we are in Daytona Beach, and we've got kind of a long-ish flight ahead of us. Not super long, but long-ish. Let me first lay the land for you here. I'm sharing my whole screen instead of just the sim for the moment because I want you to understand what we're up to. About a week and a half ago, I did a flight from Charlotte to Daytona. The idea was I was taking the RFK Team boys. I'm a NASCAR fan, and specifically I follow the 6 and 17 cars, driven by Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher. And I had this fun idea for a series where I thought, it'd be fun to fly the team from track to track in a chartered craft, right? But it's performance based. So the better they do, the better the plane. If they win a race, 737 BBJ. And then for every average finish, team-based average finish that they do, they get a slightly worse plane, depending on how bad they finish, right? So worst case scenario, they'll never fly commercial. Worst case scenario is we're going to get in a Seneca and fly about the country. Today, we're in the DC-3 because, as you can see here, Brad got wrecked out near the end of the race in Daytona. Chris struggled a little bit and finished 18th for an average finish of 26th. And so that puts them into the DC-3 band, and that's why we are here in the beautiful, gorgeous DC-3. We are chartering one today from World Travel Airlines, as you can see, whatever that is. And we were just getting to the point where I had to remember how to fire up the engines of this thing. It's a little complicated, and so I was firing everything up, and I've got the right engine up and running. Now I'm just programming in my flight plan, and then I'll fire up the left engine, and we'll get rolling. So I'm not great at this style of avionics, so we're just gonna figure things out. But I figured it'd be better than using the Sperry if I'm going to do this on VATSIM, which I am on VATSIM. So I have created a SimBrief flight plan, and we're just programming in right now those waypoints, that flight plan. So bear with me for a minute here while we do a little um, turning of knobs. I sure wish I could use keyboard inputs on this. Where am I at? Royes. Royes, R-O-Y. Not sure if this part's even interesting to you guys, but some of my favorite stuff about simming is just the logistics of setting up the airplane. I don't know why. I like the checklists. I like the nerdery of it. I like the detail of it. Yeah, so this part's fun to me. CRG is next, so we will pop in Charlie, Boink, Romeo, and Golf. Boink. And next would be, let's see, Hongu, Hongu. So we're going to go down a little bit. H. O. I went too far. N. G. Uniform. Enter. Enter. Enter, I say. Interesting. H-O-O-G-N-U. Crap. Like I said, attention to detail. H-O-G. And November. Uniform. There it is. Southeast U.S. Yes, Southeast U.S. Okay. 327 nautical miles. Let's do a quick check here. Does that feel right? Yeah, it looks like it. It's a pretty long way. I'm going to open up the actual map here. No, it's only 83 nautical miles. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. Never mind. That's the desired track. Again, I'm not great at this type of avionics. Let's go back to our OFP. So we have Hognu in there. Next, Noki, N-O-K-I-E, N-O-K-I-E. So we'll go N, Oscar, Kilo, India, Echo, enter, and then we're gonna, oops, hang on. Before I get to the next page, I'll make sure I'm not overwriting one of these. There we go. Okay. Now we want varsity, V-R-S-T-Y. B, Romeo. This one's full of late letters. Sierra. Tango. Varsity, enter, enter. Alright, and then our destination is going to be KHMP. Now, you'll see something funky on the screen in a minute here. K Hotel. I hope this finds it. If not, I know it's due, I think. Mike. And then Papa. Yes, okay, good. Alright, so here's what's going on. Here's why I was a little worried about that. There seems to be a discrepancy out there in the world. According to the airport database, I was right there. KA47 is, actually, I'm sorry, KHMP is the airport that's just outside of Atlanta Motor Speedway, and that's where I want to land. I don't want to land at Atlanta International, right? So I'm not going to KTL. I'm landing at the airport right next to the runway, right next to the airport. But that doesn't seem to exist inside of Navigraph, and so I'm sorry, not Navigraph, but the overlay tool that I have here. When I did some searching and stuff, I found that this is called K4A7 for whatever reason in this tool. So when I switch over OBS here to the flight sim, you'll see at the top there that it's wanting to go to K4A7. So I'm aware that that's disagreeing, but I wanted to at least have the distances and stuff correct, and I think that'll end up being okay. But that's why you see a bit of a discrepancy there between where I'm saying I'm going and where the overlay says I'm going. So hope that makes sense and doesn't confuse any of my buddies and friends and chums and pals out there in YouTube land. So now that we have our flight plan turned in, I'm going to go over to vPilot here and see if I've got any automatic briefing stuff, and then key up my mic for VATSIM. So it looks like Jacksonville approach is online on 127.0, and I do have some auto ATC. No provider controlling clearance at my departure airport. Please squawk 6735 for my IFR flight. Okay, so let's shut this down, and we will just use our control panel here to set it to, what do you say, 6735. Six seven three five is set in the transponder. Where the heck is the transponder? There it is. And we're going to go ahead and set that up. In fact, I don't have cameras set up for this thing either. I frankly hope I'm not flying it a ton, because I don't have a lot of custom stuff configured for it, and it's a little bit unwieldy the way it's sort of set up. Huh. Okay, I think that's set on out, and then it goes straight over to off, so that's a bit weird. So anyway, I think we're on. Um, Barometer is set. We will be using some autopilot here a bit, but there's going to be some manual running of that stuff. Just real quickly, going to pull up Navigraph and look at the airport chart. Yeah, no, dismiss. I already have that in there, I think. Yeah, no, that's not actually it. So, hide. Why did that get lost? Flights. Unload. That's the one I want. Thank you very much. I don't know why that unloaded itself, but whatever. Let's look at my airport. KDAB. And I want to look at the taxi chart. Let's take a closer look here. Alright, what runway am I supposed to be taking off at? From, that is. I also need to double check SimAware real fast and see what the story is there. Let's look back real quickly at my flight plan, runway 34. So, alright, so I'm parked here, so I'm going to need to taxi Charlie 3 Whiskey, I'm sorry, Charlie 3 November Whiskey all the way down to 3-4. So let's real quickly just double check. I'm going to go back over to my browser. You won't see this for a moment, but I'm going to go back over to my browser here and just double check SimAware to make sure that I'm not in a covered area here. It's correct, I am not in a covered area. I might go through the approach area, but I don't know that that's going to be controlled where I'm concerned, because I'm not actually approaching into Jacksonville. So I think we're going to be no ATC, at least for the beginning parts of this. So let's go ahead and take our chocks off, which if you're just new to this airplane and you don't know where your doors and chocks are, I learned this the hard way one day while flying. This door, and the chocks on the airplane are these three switches over here on the duck mod. So if I flip that far switch, the cargo door closes. If I flip the middle switch, the ingress door closes. If I turn off the chocks, the third switch, the chocks go off. All right, let's go ahead and start our other engine. We've already got one up, so I'm going to put my mixture up, prop up. I'm going to crack the throttle a good bit there. I'll look at that message in a moment. And we are going to make sure our cowl flap is open, our fuel selector is on, and magneto is on. All right, cool. Booster pump is on. We're going to change our mesh over to left. Wait a few seconds. Left. Prepare for left primer. Listen for the sounds. And primer on. Go. That should get a good start. I'm going to close this window. We'll listen to this one. Look out the window, see if we get a good start. I believe we do. Weird that I can't hear this side very well. Audio bug here. Oh, hang on, we do not have a good start. What did I miss? We got a fuel selector turned on. We have our mixture all the way up, our prop all the way up. Our throttle is cracked. Do I have hydraulic pressure? I do, but let's give it a couple pumps anyway. Okay, cowl flap is open. Magneto is on. Let's try it again. Pump is on. Left engine. Mesh. get some gas. Yeah, I think we got it good that time. Yes, sir. We got it good that time. All right. Close our window there. Look at our dials. It's okay to me. What's this message want? Button. All right, I think our flight plan looks good. And what's up with that funky red color? I don't know what that's all about. Maybe I'll try to figure that out in a minute. All right, we're going to set it up on GPS mode. Message. Go ahead and pop in our departure here. It's Royaz. And what did I say? We're leaving 3-4. Okay, so that means our initial climb is going to be at 4,000. And we'll go ahead and configure our heading bug here. And get ourselves on Unicom as well. So let's take a look up here. And Unicom is 122.8. Let's test transmit real fast. It is. Okay, transmit button works. All right, let's just kind of look outside the aircraft, make sure we're all look good, and we'll go ahead and do Shift P to request pushback here. I say we'll request pushback here with Shift P. Can't turn this thing around like it is. What's flipping? Turn off the boost pumps, I think. Which ones are those? Oh, no, not Magneto. Not Magneto. Damn it, I have to start the engines back up. I might have recovered them. Yeah, okay, good. Boost pumps are off. Chocks are out. Why isn't the pushback working? Shift P. Turning on the prop deicer. We got a mapping problem here. Let's fix our mapping problem real quickly here. Keyboard. There we go. Let's say I couldn't turn around here. I was going to strike a wing. Okay, and let's just orient ourselves again. I kind of got myself lost in doing all that. So I need to push back to the left here. So let's go back in the aircraft and take off our steering. We got to flip, 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 and left engine tank selector. I thought that was, yeah, tail wheel, TW, yeah, okay. That confused me for a moment there. This thing is slow. Is the parking brake on? There we go. Go ahead and turn on our landing lights as taxi lights. Still coming. So we want to go around this. We'll look at the map again here. We want to back up this way. And then, actually, we can go to the right. We'll go to the right and then all the way down Whiskey. That's what we'll do. Yeah, that's the right way to go. Yeah, we'll thread the needle there. No, we wouldn't want to hit one of those planes, would we? So we'll stop our pushback here right at the grass and do a tight turn, assuming the rear wheel works here. It was strange that it sort of fought me there. Okay, stop the pushback, and we'll just leave it outside here and just see if it lets me turn the airplane. Okay, steering isn't working. Something's wrong with steering. Oop, no, not all the way off. Thing's finicky, man. These old boys are finicky. Why is that not working? There it goes. Okay, so let's flip this bad boy around. Give it a little right engine. Let's also come down some flaps here. Oh man, I forgot how finicky this freaking thing is. Okay, flaps are down. Probably don't need that much flaps. Been a while, man. It's been a long time since I've flown this. Okay, so we want to go over here. And what was it? We're going to go Alpha Whiskey. Daytona Beach traffic, RFK 617, taxiing for runway 34 departure via Alpha Whiskey. Yeah, we're on a good track here. Let's check some traffic here. We're about to be crossing a runway. Make sure that vPilot has the right audio device set up. Yep, HyperX looking good. Okay. And while that's happening, oh, it looks like we will have some coverage here. That still says Jacksonville approach here. So I'm going to go ahead and dial in 127. Frequency 127000. And I might be interacting with them in a minute. It's interesting. Look, the windsock is going opposite direction right now. That's alright. This plane, it does not need much to take off. It does not need much to get off the ground. In fact, it doesn't really even need the flaps that I have dialed into it. It can just freaking launch itself, weirdly enough. For how slow it is, it just, these wings have just a lot of lift. Does not need a lot of runway. Was famously used in World War II, as well as its commercial career, doing a lot of ops in the European theater. All right. There's no toga button, so give me a little bit of a yeehaw in the chat. Daytona Beach traffic, RFK 617 entering runway 34 for a northerly departure. RFK, excuse me, Daytona Beach traffic. Okay. I feel like I had a button set for my for locking out the rear steering, but maybe not. All right. Okay. Does not take long for this thing to lift the rear. Steering with the rudder. Waiting for it to feel light. Oh, it wafts all over the place though. It's been a while since I've flown this. It's really challenging. All right. Feeling good. 80. All right, let's give it a little back. Nice. Let's go ahead and come up on some flaps. Don't really need them. Keep on coming, keep on coming. We're gonna hand fly this for a minute. And we'll turn to the north, double check our heading here. And I want to get, there we go. Let's put our range in. Got a green gear light, that's good. Cool. We are perfectly on a runway heading. We're going to go to barbs in just a moment here. And we'll flip over to autopilot 2 in a bit. Looking solid though, getting off the ground. Let's do a visual inspection of our flaps. Let's go ahead and come up the rest of the way on flaps. Oh, hang on. Gear up. Never did gear up. Duh. Just get some more airspeed in the bad boy. Come off the props just a little bit. Off the mixture just a little bit. Passing 1,000. We'll go ahead and give it a turn to the left here and start intercepting our proper northerly course while we climb. Climbing at about 1,000 feet per minute right now. Goodbye Daytona International Speedway. Let's go outside and take a look. That gear is up and good. There goes Daytona International Speedway. Bye Daytona. Bye. I think we'll leave the landing lights on for this entire flight, given that our cruising altitude's only going to be 950 or 095, I should say. Let's. Okay. You know what? Let's go to our flight plan, and we'll go direct. Is it barbs? Direct barbs. So, actually, I guess I don't know how to do this. Manual sequence. Can I click direct barbs? Enter. Activate. Okay, good, good, good. So flight plan now. Alright, good. Let's go ahead and turn it. So the bearing that we're going to want. Oh, that's weird. See, I don't know these avionics. I don't understand how these work. Oh, I see. Okay, cool. Alright. Yeah, so we're good. We're good. So we have a desired track here. Where does it say my desired track? Let's fly our plane first. Are we looking on vertical speed? How are we looking on airspeed? Yeah, pretty healthy actually. Passing 3,000 now. What's my message? Approaching VNAV profile. Okay, thank you. Trim it back just a little bit. One of the things that's deceptive about flying this airplane is its horizon. Like the way it's angled is sort of downward facing almost. And so you feel like you're diving when you look out the windshield, but in fact you're still climbing. So like you can see here, it just looks like I'm going down when you look out the windshield. But indeed I am not. I am still climbing as we speak. Alright, let's just try to get over. We're still hand flying at the moment. We have not engaged any autopilot stuff at this point. Just following the magenta line for the moment. I wish I could find... Where's my desired track at here? Okay, looks like we are passing 4,000. Climbing at 1,000. Looking okay, looking okay. Been a while since I've flown this girl. It really has. Let's go ahead and change our cows to trail. Big red light is okay. That's what got me on the gear earlier. I looked over and I saw green, and I don't know why I was thinking, hey, that means my gear's up. And dummy, of course, that's not what it means. It means your gear's down and locked. That's a good thing for landing. So, you know, it's just one of those things. You get good at doing stuff by doing it a lot, and this plane is not one that I fly a lot. Alright, where am I at on the server? That's me right there. So I am definitely going to enter some controlled airspace. You know, I'll switch over to desktop mode there for you guys to see this. So what I'm looking at is SimAware, and it shows that this whole Jacksonville approach area is a controlled airspace. On vPilot it says, oh, hang on. I bet you it's because I'm almost there that they're going offline right now. So I bet you that bubble goes away the second I get there. It's just, if you've watched my streams in the past, you know that VATSIM hates me. And every time I want to practice my calls and just flying on VATSIM and hearing other people interact and all that stuff, that the second that I'm like in range and it's time for me to get involved, it all goes away. Alright, I have just turned on autopilot, and where's my heading at? Okay, there's my heading bug. Let's put it on, what's my desired track, darn it? Well, right now I'm at a 290, so why don't we just put it at 290? Heading mode. That's weird. I want it. Arm the autopilot. Arm the autopilot, you jerk. Let's see here. What have I done wrong? Heading. Oh, I know what it is. It's this thing. I bet you now. Autopilot engaged. Haha. Yep. Okay. We'll put heading mode in now. Or no, we'll just put nav mode in and see if it works. Alright, my hope is that it banks onto the magenta line and follows north. My desired track here is going to be a 002. Hey, there we go. Now we're talking. We're still climbing, nice and slowly, nice and carefully. I'm going to go down here and look at my throttles and whatnots. Okay, so we want to come. The mixtures have like an indent we want to get them to. Yeah, auto lean's where we want them. There we go. So we got them in auto lean. Looking good. Okay. So our altitude passing 6.5. 165 knots. Flaps 0. Gear is up. Cow's in the trail position. Throttles are auto lean. Fuel is looking okay. Need to remember to switch tanks later. Hydraulics are okay. On course. We'll do a quick external check here for that course. Yeah, we're looking solid. Nice. Now I'm going to go look real quickly at SimAware, and sure enough, the second I got close, ATC went offline. That's just almost guaranteed for me. Makes no sense, but that's my life. I don't understand it. But I'm glad you're here with me, even if there's no ATC to listen to and enjoy and learn from. I wanted to learn from it. All right. Well, now that we're airborne at 7,300, we're going to cruise at 9.5. That's when we're already at auto lane, but we'll come back on the props at 9.5 and the throttle at 9.5 a little bit, and try to find a nice equilibrium with the trim and holding on altitude. So just keep doing what we're doing here, holding a nice pretty wheel at the moment. Looking good at the moment. Looks like our destination time at current speed is 1:40, hour 40. That feels about right, probably. Switching over to full screen there. It's in windowed mode for whatever reason. Alright, passing 8,000. It's time to start thinking about my altitude hold. Which I think I'll just be able to hit out and it'll hold it. That's what I think will happen. I also need to turn on a damn fan. It's hot up in here. Ah! Do-do-do-do-do-do. Turn that fan on there, see if it's enough airflow to blow across my sim rig over to this rig. My driving rig, that is. Yes, I know. I'm very privileged. Very, very privileged. Anyway, we're cruising. Cruising pretty comfortably, pretty nicely. It's actually almost a little bit too much air now that I got that turned on. These little Vornado fans, man, they're dope. They move some air for how small they are. Alright, I probably blew through my altitude while being distracted. Nope, we're good. We're good. Cruising. Look at us cruising. We're just flying, baby. Just flying, baby. Yes, sirree, baby. It's a pretty smooth airplane once you figure it out. Not saying I'm an expert at it, but I remember the first time I tried to fly it, I sort of just had an ongoing crash for a solid 25 minutes before I figured out that I had flipped those. Oh yeah, I told you I'd tell you about this. These three switches over here. I had left. I had at some point during my ascent had flipped two of them, and so I was trying to fly along with the doors open, and it was just causing all kinds of weird problems. And I wasn't figuring out my flaps. My airspeed was kept falling, and my angle of attack, I was just all over the place, and it took me a long time to figure out why. But then once I got the doors closed, duh, and once I got the doors closed and I managed to figure out sort of some of the attitude, like I said, not feeling like I'm diving, you know, learning the attitude, where the throttle and the mixture needs to be and all that stuff. Once I started to figure that stuff out, oh shoot, I did go too high. Altitude, does that hold me? Okay, good, it does. Let's go. All right, we're a little high, so let's go down, down, down. No? Yeah. Do I have a vertical speed button here somewhere? Turn out. There it goes. Okay. Let's see if that starts to decrease. Barrow. I wanna decrease my altitude here. Arm? I want to decrease my altitude just a little bit here, champ. How do I put you in vertical speed mode? Why are you gaining altitude? Okay, let's quickly disengage let's disengage. We're gonna pick up a little speed doing this, but we're gonna get down to 95, and then I'm gonna finagle it at that point. So autopilot's disengaged. We're hand flying it again. My controls. Let's keep it on the magenta line. Do a little downward trim. So, and you know, I won't talk about this until after I've figured all this stuff out, but I want to talk about next week and sort of the week after so that the channel knows what to expect. Getting fast, 200 miles an hour here. Right, let's just do more aggressively here. Let's get this bad boy down. It's kind of fighting me not wanting to go down, which is probably because of all the engine power I still have in there. All right, let's take out some prop. Try to get it equalized autopilot altitude and nav. That should hold pretty perfectly. Get us back on course. All right. So I think we're recovered from blowing through our altitude. Indeed. Okay, we're holding nice and steady at 9,500 and about 200 miles an hour. Kind of cruising here. Looking okay. Do a quick position check on here. It's kind of a slow flight though. You know, even though it is 200 miles an hour, it's still kind of a long way in a DC-3. Old school, man. Look at that bad boy though. Look how pretty it is. Let's go check our gauges. Alright, so let's manipulate stuff, get them in the blue and in the green. Don't need quite so much power. Mixture's already auto lean. Why is the oil pressure kind of high? Airspeed check. Still close to 200, looking good. Alright. Come off on the manifold pressure a bit here. Get that down to nice cruising high blue. I don't want to lose all the speed, but that ought to be nice and comfortable for the aircraft. To maintain, altitude check still 95. Holding pretty steady here. I guess I don't understand how this autopilot works when it comes to vertical speed changing. When I pushed that, it didn't seem to do anything, you know? Just check our fuel tanks. we're in good shape on fuel for the moment. Just looking at right main, left main. Okay, so what was I saying? Um, so back to our spreadsheet real fast. Yes, what a nerd, I know. Back to our spreadsheet real fast. It's been a bad start for Brad. He's last I saw, literally, even though he's a championship contending driver, a former championship driver, and really a very good super speedway driver. These first 2 weeks, he has been very unlucky. Um, with about, I think it was 10 to go in the Daytona 500, he was passing for the lead, going for the lead, and got crashed because one of the Hendrick drivers behind him pushed another Hendrick car behind him. He lost control and went right into Brad's quarter panel and into the wall. Finished 33rd out of 40. So kind of a minimum points day. And then Atlanta just last week, which I was at in person, and I got to tell you, one of the best races, if not the best race I've ever seen in my life. If you want to see what NASCAR racing is all about, go watch Atlanta. What's it called? Am Better Health 400 from this weekend, this past weekend. Wow, what a finish! Just watch the highlights. You don't have to watch the whole race. There were several crashes, but just watch the highlights. You'll be, if you're not a NASCAR fan, it might make you one. Anyway, fantastic race, but near the end of it, I think it was like 40 laps to go or so. This was just Brad's mistake. The car was really loose. All the cars were really loose. This happened to 2 or 3 guys throughout the race. He was just cruising along and lost control, and then sort of he collected other people in his crash. And his car got terminally damaged and pulled off the track again for a 33rd place finish. So what that means is that even though Buescher had an earlier incident and recovered up to a 9th position, the average finish is still a 21st, which puts us again in the DC-3. But here's the kicker. Today, we're just flying up from little old Daytona Beach to, we're flying up to Atlanta, right? Or to near Atlanta. So that's not that far, right? It's really not that far where I'm at, Atlanta. So that's not a crazy flight. It's no big deal. However, for those of you who might not be American out there, you might not be aware of the scale of our fine country. I've got to go from Atlanta to Las Vegas. I don't know the distance. Maybe 2,800 miles. If you're, that's 3.6, something like 4,000 kilometers in the DC-3. So that's going to be a marathon. Now, my problem is, looking at the calendar here, I was out of town last weekend for a conference. So I was out of town for the 21st through the 24th for a conference, and then was at the race all day on the 25th. So that's why this flight is a couple days behind schedule. And then this next one, I will not have time to get it done. I'm working Wednesday and Thursday, and then I've got to be on the road. I'm driving halfway across the country on the 1st and 2nd, and I won't be back until probably the 6th or 7th next week. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to get next week's long freaking flight in. It's possible I might be able to do it Thursday or Friday um, ahead of not Vegas, but whatever follows Vegas, which is what is it? So this coming weekend's Vegas, but I'll be out of town for that one. It's Phoenix next, so I'm hoping that I'm caught up for Phoenix, and we're caught up again. And then I'll have one more interruption, I think, in about 2 months, where I'm flying over to India again for about a week. So there'll be another interruption there in the schedule. But outside of that, you should be able to count on these track-to-track, racetrack-to-racetrack trips pretty consistently for the course of the NASCAR season. But for today, we are happily a couple of days behind schedule, obviously, but we are happily flying this beautiful Douglas DC-3 at 9,500 feet over Florida, well over all of the crazy cavemen who live here, cruising over Florida in a super comfortable little airplane, and just rolling, just cruising. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. trying to remember. I thought I had some keybinds set up for. Um, yeah, I guess not. Oh yeah, here we go. That's my passenger keybind. I forgot about that. So if you were Brad or Chris riding along, that's what it'd be like with your chartered DC-3. What an airplane. I love this thing. So much fun, old school. What the hell is that? Aliens attack Florida. Florida man says aliens attacked. What city am I going over right now? Florida man says. Let's see here. I'm going over Jacksonville. Awesome Bill from Jacksonville. I think my favorite pop culture use of Jacksonville has got to be from the show The Good Place. If you haven't seen it, it's great. But the stupidest character in the world is from Jacksonville, and there's this other character who's a very hoity-toity, wealthy socialite kind of woman, and there's this great scene where she wants to give a bunch of her money away, and she's going to give it to the guy from Jacksonville. And she goes into the bank and declares her intentions, and the bank manager says, he says, normally we're not even allowed to let people from Florida into the bank, much less let them open an account. It's great. It's hilarious. Makes me giggle. That show's brilliant in a lot of different ways if you haven't seen it. And join my Discord server with the guys and see if anybody happens to come on. Put it on voice activity. Yeah, okay, there we go. Anywho, yeah, so we're just cruising now. Let's take a look at a few recent screenshots from my flying fun. And maybe not just flying fun, I don't know, but let's see here. Going over to Discord, stuff that I've been goofing off with. So here's the car that we raced in the Daytona 24. Did not do great. None of us put enough practice in. We ended up in a pretty high split, and I think we finished 11th or 10th, something like that. Here I am in this DC-3 cruising at Delta Airlines livery DC-3 that I flew all over the Philippines. I liked that a lot. I've been flying the 737 a lot. I feel like I've gotten to the point where if one were sitting unattended on the tarmac, I could probably steal it effectively. And then most recently, I've been flying, I don't think I have any good pictures of it recently here, but I've been flying the Vision Jet a little bit. And that's a fun little guy. Slower than, the other guys, and that the 737 will get up to like 0.8 Mach. And this guy only get a little over 0.5, I think it is. But loving it, man. It's a lot of fun. I took the copter out, the Dune copter out, and flew it over the Giza Plateau, which I thought was a good time. What else have I been flying or driving? I don't know, I guess that's about it for the moment. Yeah, I did a little VFR flight around southern England. Did a little house spotting places I used to live. So, yeah, I've been doing a little flying here and there. Having a good time. Having a good time. I'm only going 175 knots over here. I'd like to pick up some more speed. Let's experiment. Because the airplane just sounds really happy right now. But let's, at the expenditure of a little bit of fuel, if I put the props up, what happens to my airspeed? Nothing. We'll pull the props back down. And let's pull the throttle up. There we go. Now we're talking. Yeah, let's see if we can get it up closer to 200. We'll cut some time off of this ETE, which is currently sitting at 119. A little more, maybe? A little more, maybe? Anyway, got the plane flying nice and comfortably. We're happy. We're cruising 9,500 feet over Florida. Look at the view, beautiful day. I am not on real time, even though I normally would be. I'm not on real time just because it's nicer to fly Oops, wrong button. It's nicer to fly when you're streaming and stuff in, in the daytime, because, what fun is this, right? So we've got it set for, I don't know, it's probably noon or so right now. Yeah, so forgive that inaccuracy, but I don't know, it's just nicer that way. Just nicer that way. Womp, 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 womp. Up and down a little bit, up and down a little bit. Is that really gaining and losing 30 feet every few seconds? Anyway. Coming up on a left turn here. Speaking of NASCAR. That's going to kind of take us onto our longest single track here. Well, 328 and then 331, so basically uniform for a long ways. But we're going to be on this track for about 83 nautical miles. Yeah. Look out the window here, enjoy the scenery for a moment. I might be in Florida again soon as well. I have a potential trip to Tallahassee coming up. Ooh, why are we banking right, bro? Well, that's interesting. Why did we bank right? We're just going to override that. Disengage autopilot. What's our next waypoint? It didn't switch over. Hognu is next. So let's... direct Hognu. Oh no. Hang on. Flight plan. Click the button. Direct Hognu. Enter, enter. And autopilot nav. Okay, so what did I do wrong with the flight planning that caused that to happen? Let's go down there and look at it. So we're going to clear Royas. Well, hang on, double check. CRG, Hognu. Yeah, we want to clear Royas. I think that's what I did wrong. I need to clear out the ones that I'm not going to go to. There we go. So Hognu, Noki, Varsity. Yes, okay, enter. CRG en route to Hognu. That looks correct. Expecting a right turn here. Alright, we got our right turn happening there. So we're learning stuff about these avionics. This bad boy. Oh, our altitude. What's up with our altitude? 11.4. We need to do our correction again. We'll try the down again. This thing again. There we go. Now it's working. It's interesting. I wonder why it doesn't hold there. Well, I guess it is. It's just not displaying. It's strange. Anyway. Need to get back down to our 95. Goodbye Atlantic Ocean. Oh look, another racetrack. Wonder what that was. Or is. It looks abandoned. Alright, passing 11,000 down now. Is that an airport over there? Or is it a highway? Well, when you're in Florida, it might be both. It's probably a terrible joke because of that private jet crash recently. Happened outside of, I think it was Tampa? I was watching a forensic thing about it, and I guess there was some sort of fuel delivery problem. So either they ran out of fuel, or they had some sort of fuel feed problem, like pumps went out or something. Don't know. Sad though. The passengers got out. The pilots died. It was the one, if you hadn't seen it, like the plane tried to do an emergency landing like a mile or 2 miles away from the airport, trying to do an emergency landing on a highway that had cars going on it and stuff, and ended up striking a car and then careening into a retention wall, a highway retention wall, and exploding. Went nose first into the wall, killed the pilots. No fun. No bueno. Still no ATC coverage the rest of the way, it looks like. We're well on our way. Lots of ATC coverage up to the northeast today. It's like New York, parts of Canada, parts of the eastern seaboard. And not down here in Florida. Almost back to our target altitude here. Some jams going on in the background here. Don't know if they're good jams or not, but get some jams. Okay, we're almost leveled off here at 9,500 again. 200 miles an hour. And altitude button. Nice. On track. And I think this time we've got our GPS correctly configured. I suppose it's not too early to think about our arrival. So we're going to be coming in from Varsity. Let's find out what runway. Runway 24 looks like it's active, so we've got Buckhead and well, none of those. So do we just not use an arrival and just go straight to an approach, I guess? Oh, I see what it's doing. Okay. Because I'm coming in at the opposite angle. So let's look at that again. Well, still I wouldn't use any of those. So I think what I'll do is just put the approach in for RNAV24. See what that looks like. So I would go from varsity to Yebbet. Where's Yebbet? Let's look at the varsity chart, or the RNAV24 chart. Okay, there's Yebbet. Alright, so what we're going to do then, is go into our flight plan, actually our processes area here, and we're going to just choose our arrival. Actually, no, our approach, flight plan, process. Select approach. RNAV24. And we're going to use Yebbet. Let's load that bad boy. Let's kind of take a look through. So Colby, blah, 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 yeah. Runway 24. If I clear this, what happens? Okay, I think that's correct. 241 is the course. 241 is the final approach course. Okay, I think that's all right. Oh, hang on. Using these things just takes a lot of practice. Alright, that all looks right to me. GPEP for a missed approach. Set course to 327. We're already there. Okay. I think we're configured. Get that one pinned. So let's look at our pin board here. So I guess we don't need an arrival. And if I understand this correctly, what's going to happen is, how do I get back to my map here? There we go. Let's change our range farther out. Yeah, we'll look at it when we get in a little bit closer. We're okay on our course. I don't know why it's wanting me to do 327. I think we are A-OK. Cruising about 185 miles an hour. 9,500 holding steady. Dials all looking bueno. Do a quick fuel check. You know, let's go ahead and switch it over to left aux. And right aux. Then we might switch them back as we get closer. While we're at it, let's go ahead and make sure our nose wheel lockout is in for the landing. Crossfeed doesn't work on this, so yeah, good shape. Not nose wheel, tail wheel. There is no nose wheel because, you know, this plane, tail dragger. I can't believe I gotta fly this thing. And by gotta, I mean I'm having fun. But I cannot believe I've got to fly this thing all the way from Atlanta to Vegas. That's got to be a brutally long flight. But we're doing it in the name of fun. It'll be a marathon. Alright. Stepping away for a minute, grab myself a water. back in the cockpit here. Got ourselves some agua. We'll do a quick position check a couple different ways. Why don't we go back to OBS here, show the old desktop. We'll look at SimAware. So as you can see, we're flying towards some weather. This is real time. I am not in the sim on necessarily real time, but the weather is. So I might hit a little bit of weather when we come into land. I've never landed this plane in bad weather before. The airport that we're looking for is, let's see, where the heck's Atlanta? There's Atlanta. So where we're going is Hampton. Where's Hampton? Anyway, it's around here somewhere. See, I don't know my way around the suburbs of Atlanta. I've lived here for a few years now, but you know, it's such a big city. You don't go exploring a lot around town, or around out of town, I should say. Where the heck is it? I might have to look it up on Google Maps and do some cross-referencing or something. Oh, actually, doesn't it highlight it? KHMP. I thought it highlighted it. Oh, but only if I've got myself. Oh, I do have myself highlighted. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. So you can see there's the speedway right there. Turn off the weather. So you can see the speedway right there. And that's the airport we're going to be landing in. 3-4. So, yeah, yesterday I was sat right there on the speedway, just off center of the start-finish line. In fact, let's do a quick airplane check, make sure we're okay. Check our dials. Oh yeah, we're golden. I'll kind of show you what my spot looked like. Photos. So I captured the start just real quickly. Quality looking so bad here. Download it. Oh no, there it goes. Yeah. Here they come, 186 miles an hour, 36 cars. Just and then I was turning off my phone and I sort of missed that opening crash. Some other random lap. Look at them, just all close together, nose to tail. Just crazy. Sunset was beautiful. The weather was perfect. It was a really good time. Really good time. So anyway, those are the seats that we had the other day, and had a blast of a time. If you haven't been to a NASCAR race, man, do it. It's such a good time. And if you can, make it Atlanta. I mean, it's the best ticket right now. $90 a seat or so for those seats. So as major sporting events go, not bad. Not bad at all. You think about what it costs to go to an NBA game and have really good seats, you know, or a good NFL game. It's crazy expensive, and this was comparatively really good. Okay, let's pay attention to what happens here, because last time we got to one of our waypoints, it lost its routing and tried to go back somewhere. So I want to see if I've got this correctly set up now, where I should go from Hongu to Noki. So I'm curious to make sure that CRG isn't going to mess with things here. If I understand this correctly, it won't, right? CRG's in the past. I'm en route to Hongu, and then it should take me to Noki next. But again, I'm just not very familiar with these avionics. Not great at them. Don't really know them inside and out. Gotten more expert at the 737 than the GA aircraft. But if Keselowski keeps struggling the way he is, I'll be flying a lot of GA aircraft. I don't know what these dials do. Oh, it's windshield wiper. Oh my goodness. The slowest windshield wiper in the history of ever. Okay. It's adjustable. Alright, coming up on Hongu here in 1 mile. Expecting you to turn, baby. Let's go look at get it from this point of view. See if it turns to the right and then evens out. Smooth ride from my boy Brad. Alright, we got a right turn. Evening out, nice. Yes, okay, good. So now we've got Hongu en route, Noki. Looking good, okay. Nice. If you're wondering why I've kept the landing lights on, it's just because I'm never breaking 10,000 feet this whole flight. And so, you know, at 9,500, it's below 10. I figure, I don't know if this is correct for low altitude IFR flying. I suppose I should look it up. But my idea is if I, in an airliner, don't turn my landing lights off until 10,000 feet, then in this airliner flying IFR, I also shouldn't turn off my landing lights. So, hey, out there in the chat, if I'm right about that or wrong about that, let me know. As I am assuming, which is always dangerous. Always dangerous to assume. Makes an ass out of you and me. Hardy har. Let's put this back on flight sim mode. About halfway through the flight. Looking at our ETE here, we've got about 48 minutes left. So getting close to starting to have to think about the approach. We're not going to be programming any arrivals. They look like they all come from the north. So we'll only be thinking about, we'll take our own vectors in. Basically when I get to Varsity, I'm going to do direct to Yebut. Yeah, direct to Yebut, but I think we're already programmed for that. So we'll double check after we get to I guess we could check now. Yeah, Yebut's already programmed in next. So I think we're in good shape. Shouldn't have to do anything manual there. It'll just automatically take those turns. If I really want to punish myself, I should do the flight from Atlanta to Vegas in the DC-3 using the Sperry autopilot instead of these semi-modern GA aviation or avionics. That would be even more punishing. But I mean, I don't even know how long is that flight going to take. Let's find out. Let's find out how long that flight is going to take because it's going to be brutal. If I do a new flight from what was it called? KHMP to KLAS in the DC-3. No. No. Oh no. What is the effective range of this airplane? I don't think it's that far. Oh man, oh man. 10 hours, 30 minutes? Wow. Wow. That's gonna be nuts. Well, Don't even know what to say about it. Like, is there anything about this that I can do to change its performance metrics or whatever? And fuel planning. I don't know exactly how to do that, how to think about the fuel. Extra fuel. Okay, so yeah, I'll have to stop for gas. Right? Like, what's the fuel capacity of this thing? Does this somewhere show me the actual fuel capacity? Yeah, flight exceeds aircraft range. So I'm gonna have to do a flight and a landing at some midway point, maybe Oklahoma City, and then a secondary flight to Las Vegas. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do that day, whenever that painful thing is. Or maybe I'll give these guys a mulligan. I don't know. Well, you guys tell me. All right, answers in the chat or in comments below there. If I should give the team a mulligan, and I'll explain the rules again real quickly here for any late joiners. So I'm doing, for RFK Racing, my favorite NASCAR team, I'm doing a performance-based charter service here, basically, right? Where the better they do, the better the plane. And so the way I'm thinking about it is, if there's a winner, if either of the guys wins a race, then we're going to fly in the 737 BBJ. That's awesome, right? If they come in average of a top 10, so I'm calculating the average finish here, if they come in average of top 10, then they're going to fly the CJ4 Citation. If 11th through 20th, Vision Jet, average, and what's happened to those, a couple of rough races for Brad, a couple of mediocre races for Chris. If they average between 21st and 30th, then they're flying the DC-3. So, by the rules, I should have to fly the DC-3 all the way from Atlanta to Las Vegas. And I'm wondering, should I do a mulligan? So you guys tell me. I'm going to leave this out there for the vote. Whatever the majority says in comments or in the chat, I shall obey your commands. But yeah, 10 and a half hours with a stop in the DC-3. I don't know if I can be entertaining that long. I don't know that I'm entertaining right now. So you guys let me know. It sounds kind of nuts. That would be a little bit nuttaroo. Keybind settings, push to talk, backspace. Backspace do anything in the sim? I don't hear any clicking of any switches or anything, so I think backspace is probably okay. Nice. Who's passing? Might need de-icers in a bit when we get close to that Atlanta weather. We shall see. Although there is a placard in here somewhere that says, do not operate this aircraft in icing conditions. So who knows, maybe we'll get all the way there and then crash terribly. There it is, do not operate this aircraft in known icing conditions. So the reason I think that's a bit of a worry is because this, like right now, if I look out my window in Atlanta, it's raining a bit. This doesn't look that bad, but I'll look at the METAR as we get closer here, and but I'm worried that we're gonna hit some weather and see some icing conditions and just see what happens. So I think now's probably a good time to look at the ATIS for our airport over here. Oh, wrong one. Airports. I'm still looking at the wrong one. Airports. All right. So wind 210, 10 knots, gusting to 16, 10 miles. 21 degrees, humidity 29 or 9 or 6. That all looks okay. And we'll just double check runway 24 and still in use. Looks right. Let's take a look at the airport chart real fast. Shouldn't be much to see here. Elevation. So I'm gonna land and then probably get off on Bravo here and taxi back to this area here, this on the ramp most likely. It's probably the right place to be. None of that's labeled. It's important to know. Airport elevation is 882 feet. It's important to know we're coming in 1700. So we're going to get down to 2600 initially when we do our right turn. That's the message. Set course to 330. My course is effectively 330. Got to get better about noticing the messages when they first get there. Anywho. Does this thing even have the RNAV functionality? Like, I don't think it does. It doesn't have the little indicators. So I think you just eyeball it. I don't think there's any landing automation in this thing or landing assist in this thing at all. Just aim at the ground and bring it in carefully. I think my favorite definition of flying ever is from the wonderful book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where some of our main characters actually learn to fly as an unassisted human flight. And a character named Ford Prefect says, the secret is simple. Just aim at the ground and miss. I'm telling you, if you haven't read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it is some of the best sci-fi B comedy and C philosophy you'll ever read. It's great, and I always am tempted to restart reading it again. I've read the entire six-part thing probably three times, series three times, and I'm always tempted to give it another whirl. I used to subject my wife and kid to long uh, vocal readings, dramatized, of the of the Hitchhiker's Guide, to their chagrin. They loved it. They wouldn't tell you, but they loved it. This flight hasn't been bad at all. Making some good progress. I had a couple of hiccups with nav and learning how the avionics work, but pretty smooth all in all. Pretty happy with it. I feel like every time I get in this plane, I relearn how to fly it, though. Then again, I kind of feel that way with every plane. I guess there's just a lot of competency lost when you don't do something on a regular basis. That is. It's kind of weird looking. A couple of them there. Looks like 42 nautical miles until Noki. Let's start thinking about our descent profile here. So we got about 42 miles left to go until Noki, and then Varsity, and then we said we needed to be um, at 2600 for Yevit. So 2600, I'm at 9500, right? So that's 7,000 foot decrease in altitude. So yeah, 7,000 foot decrease in altitude. Sorry, just want to do a quick fuel check. It's been a minute since I've done it. So what does that mean? At 1,000 feet per minute, I need 7 minutes to go down, right? So I expect I've got 33 minutes left. I'm going 180 miles an hour. At that speed, I think if I start to descend at Noki, I'll be okay. I have 28 nautical miles to go down 7,000 feet. And if I go down at 1,000 per minute at 28, that should be 10 minutes, right? Right at 10 minutes? Maybe a little less. So I think that feels right. I'm going to set myself at 1,000 down. You know what? I'll give myself a little leeway. I'm going to set myself at 1,500 down. Let's do a quick ATC check, though. I'm going to pull up VPilot. Looks like Miami and New York are online. We'll just real quickly look at the map to make sure that there's no coverage in my area. There's coverage to the south of me in Miami, to the north of me in New York. Nothing ahead of me in Atlanta. So we're all right. So we'll continue to assume that we're going to go down with no ATC coverage. It still feels like I'm a long way away looking at the map, but you know, the numbers don't lie. Anyway, so we'll start decreasing altitude at Noki. We still got this whole place here as well, right? Don't know exactly what that distance is at the moment. But I got... Oh yeah, that's another 26 miles. We'll start dropping between Noki and Varsity. When we get to, we'll do it at 1,000 feet per minute, and when we get to Varsity, we want to be at probably 4,000. And then when we get to Yebit, we'll want to be at, what was it, 2,600, right? 2,600. That's what we'll do. So we're eyeballing it a little bit. That's okay. Don't have an approach plate to follow, or an arrival plate to follow. I get those confused all the time. And then it flies smooth when you got it trimmed out and autopilot engaged and chilling. Occurred to me that my carb temperatures are a little funky. There we go. Condition those carbs a little better. Starting to get low on the auxiliary fuel a little bit. Thinking about soonish changing it back over to the main tanks. Forgot about that. Starting to remember what those were. Those are the superchargers. Don't want to turn those off in flight. Look at that. Killed 10 miles an hour. It's going to take me a minute to recover from that. I was like, what do these levers do? Kind of a dumb thing to do. Cool airplane. Fun to fly the old stuff. Not much to see here in southern Georgia, is there? Chartering this old World Travel Airlines DC-3. So one other element of this thing is that I cannot, well, I say cannot, I have not taken enough time to figure out how to do airplane liveries. So if you've watched this channel for a long time, you know I do race car liveries all the time for iRacing, which is a relatively complex thing. And I've messed with it some, but not been able to figure out the process for doing the 3D modeling or the liveries in general for these things. And so I've watched some tutorials, but just when I'm doing stuff, it just doesn't seem to follow along with what's going on the screen. So I have not been able to figure it out yet, and consequently have not been able to create liveries. The reason that's kind of key is because what I'd like to do is, like, you know, it's the RFK private jet was my original idea. And so I was going to do RFK liveries with, you know, all the sponsor logos and all that stuff. The car number on the side, I thought that'd be kind of cool. So I was going to do all that stuff, but I haven't been able to figure it out. So that's why I've taken this more charter narrative instead. But in the meantime, if they do, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out what threshold to do this on. You know, it's all performance based. If they win a race, then they're charting or BBJ, right? They're rolling like big boys. But what if they win the championship, or what if they both make it in the playoffs or make it the Final Four? Should we, quote, buy an airplane? And if we buy an airplane, you know, I mean, put a livery on it, which would mean either me finally figuring that out, taking the time to figure it out, or it would mean me paying for, you know, there are people on Fiverr that will do that stuff. So, like, you know, when I spend $30 or whatever and commission a livery, yeah, maybe, might do that, but don't know. Got to decide. This is the display, by the way, that I was trying to figure out earlier. Is this #1 display? I forgot that you can change screens. And I was trying to find desired track earlier. But anyway, you know, I kind of like the idea of having an RFK liveried airplane. I think that'd be pretty sweet. But, you know, they got to perform to do that. Could just leave this airport, just dive down, get all kamikaze. Where is this? Where are we over? We're in Eastman, Georgia. Oh no, hold on. Oh, we passed that. Refreshed. Bon Air? Oh, Robins Air Force Base. Warner Robins. Warner Robins, that's an Air Force Base down there. We probably shouldn't land there. There are rules, very stringent rules about landing at military installations. There's probably rules about me flying over it right now. I bet you that's probably controlled airspace. Starting to get into that weather a little bit. And it looks like right at 9,500 is where this is. Let's look back at airports once again for Atlanta Speedway. Weather 10 scattered. Set our altimeter to 997. Well, we go ahead and do that. About there. Might pull me up a little further into the clouds. We'll see. What is that, 6 statute miles? Is that what that is? Okay, we're coming up on Noki here. And at Noki, I said I would. We got 2 minutes to Noki. Let's look at what the, now that I found this display here, let's look at what the time is between waypoints. We've still got a little ways to go here, right? Because if it's, I don't know, 7 minutes, then 1,000 per minute gets me down to 26 by the time of the next waypoint, right? Well ahead of where I would need to be. We just don't need to descend too rapidly. Even though it would accelerate us, that's fine. But then we gotta slow the thing down, so. Look at our fuel selectors. Pretty much even on all 4 tanks now. What we'll do is we'll check that again as we descend. And then when we're about halfway through our descent, we'll switch over to the main tanks for landing. That's what we'll do. Okay. We'll watch our turn from outside of the airplane this time. I like watching the banks. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Next is our track 331. I expect a message here telling me to go 331. Let's just watch the turn first. Expecting an automatic turn to the right. Not much to the right, but to the right. I say. Oh, it's the same track. Never mind, I'm a dummy. Alright, 10 minutes. So let's descend at 700 with the intention of being around 3 to 3,500 when we get to varsity. It is going to it's going to speed up our ETE here because we're going to gain speed while descending. That makes sense. But we've still got plenty of room because we've got another, 26 miles to get to Yevit on the RNAV approach. So I think we're okay. One might say A-okay. Next one's the right turn. That's what I was thinking about, was varsity. As in the hot dog place. Accidentally hit the button there. Yeah, let's look out that window though for a while. Why did that happen? I guess I don't know what I'm doing wrong to lock out to sometimes lock out the camera. Oh, there it is. Okay. No. Okay, there it is. I don't know. Sometimes the right click just doesn't work for dragging it around. I haven't figured out what I'm doing wrong there yet. Okay, where are we at? Passing 85, 7 to go. So we've gone. I feel okay. I think we're good. It's got to be mindful when we get to 26. We've got to make sure we arrest the descent. Hoping we have a nice sort of flyover of the speedway here. That'd be cool. Although I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to miss it when we turn up on the approach. But then we'll still see it on approach as long as we're not steeped in clouds or poor visibility, which we shouldn't be based on the METAR information. Let's see what it looks like out there for realsies. What time is it now? 1:13. I've got it set to. Okay, there it is. Oh, shoot, wrong button. Let's set it like weather. Cool. So there's Atlanta way up there, where I'm at. What a relaxing game this can be. It's interesting. What that's all about. I don't see an inlet there. Like it's not a boat ramp or something. What is that? Huh. I don't know what that is. 5 minutes to go to varsity. We are at 73. I'm going to bring us down a little bit faster then. Let's put it at 800. I feel like I'm expecting us to be a little bit lower than that. Like, I don't know, we're probably on track. If we're at 5 or less at varsity, I think we're in a good place. Definitely picked up the speed though. Look at that. 220 or 210? So we probably won't be following this line exactly. I'm not sure exactly where. For my waypoint over here, Colby, Hamp. Yeah, I don't even see Yebelt there. It's alright though. I know it's there. Let's do this real fast. There it is. There's Yebelt. Yebbet. Yebbet nebbet do. Yeah, I like going there. That's going to give me enough room to make the turn, get slowed down, get my flaps down, get my gear down, all that stuff as I do the descent profile. 6 miles here of just sort of decelerating so that I can start coming down. So I want to say we could land this thing at 130 or 140. Oh, actually, it's slower than that, look, because you can't even extend your flaps above 112. So I don't know exactly what the landing speed is on this bad boy, but it sure as heck isn't 210, right? I'm going about double landing speed right now. But then again, I'm descending, so it's only fair. I think we're on track. We'll be around 5,000, maybe a little lower than 5,000 when we get to varsity. I'm going to speed up my descent after varsity to ensure that we're at 26 when we make our left-hand turn at Yebbet. Just already curious to see if I can see the speedway off the distance. I'm sure I can't. Yeah, I'm sure it's way too far away and I don't even exactly know where to look. But I'm always shocked by kind of how deceptive distances are at this range. Anyway, it's all good. We got clear visibility up here. We should see the speedway when we're coming in. So, looking back at there at you, Brad. Hey, Brad, Chris. Do you guys want a faster airplane next week? You know, well, you're getting this airplane next week unless I give you a mulligan for 10.5 hours. So be ready for that. If I don't have time for that, I'm going to give you a mulligan. But you guys need to finish better. You guys need to be finishing better, bro. Okay, getting ready for that right turn that we didn't get earlier. Let's look at it from outside. Speedway traffic. Atlanta Speedway traffic, RFK 617, heading into the area from the southeast for the RNAV 24 approach into Atlanta Speedway traffic. Okay, we're at 4,000. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We haven't begun that right turn yet, right? It's about to happen. What's that? Is that a racetrack? What's that racetrack? I don't know that racetrack. Is there a racetrack south of Atlanta Motor Speedway that I don't know about? Interesting. Tell me more. I mean, that's not the Porsche experience. It's way up north from here. Little airport and everything, though. Okay, we got our right turn done. We've accelerated some more. We're at 220 now. Not worried about it, though. When I level off, it'll decelerate a bit automatically. We're getting close to that happening. We've got 24 nautical miles to go in 6 minutes to get to Yebbet. At 1,000 feet per minute, we are less than a minute away from leveling. And we'll begin decelerating. Try to be down around 170, 160 by the time we make our turn and begin sort of intentionally slowing down bring up our mixture and our props and all that before landing. Getting close, baby. Getting close. Let's pay close attention to our altitude. Not overshoot this time, like we did on the climb. And 3, 2, 1. Altitude mode. 2600. Holding. For the speedway, that might be it there. Started to get amped up for landing though. Maybe that's the speedway over there with all the parking. It's kind of hard to tell. Maybe that's it over there. I don't know. It's going to be hyper evident when we get really close. It should be 45 degrees off here. I wonder if that's supposed to be it. Regardless, we're in a good spot. Speed came down just a little bit there. When I make the turn, I will put I'll put props and mixture to full, and that'll have the effect of also slowing the thing down. I'll also open my cowl flaps. In fact, let's go ahead and open up the cowl flaps now. Cowl flaps are open. That's going to create a little bit of drag and do a good job of cooling the engine. Three minutes to give it. Be ready to take a screenshot if I can during approach, but I might not do it because approach. I don't have whatever the replay tool is enabled for these things, and oh good, I am right on that path. That's interesting. Anyway, I don't have whatever the replay tool is set up. I need to look into that at some point and learn how to do all that. Because I'd like to take screenshots on approach, but just have no idea how all that is set up. And when I do a screenshot on approach, I think that's the grandstands right there. I think that's what that is. When I do an approach screenshot, like I'm worried about it, especially in something as manual as this. I'm worried about screwing things up and crashing the stupid airplane. Alright, let's get in close here. And let's go ahead and go full props, full rich. And come off a little bit on throttle. Start to decelerate just a tad. Keep our altitude hold on. I don't know at what speed I can drop the gear. I see a sign telling me that, but I'm sure it's not 190. I guess I could turn off the superchargers if I really wanted to slow things down. That. There's the airport. Okay. Speedway should be right next to it. Airport in sight. Look at those big yards. Lots of breathing room. Alright, I feel like we're still going way too fast. 190 here. Let's come way off the throttle. What's that say? Oh. Yeah, next is our track, I know. Why are we turning right? We're in a hold pattern. Okay, let's go direct. Yeah, but weird stuff happens. And let's clear this hold. Alright, what the heck happened here? That activate approach. Okay, I didn't have the approach activated. That's what it was. Alright. So let's go ahead and... Alright, we've lost some speed. So we're at 170 now. That's good. That's good. Let's find this airport again. Never activated the approach. That was the step that I missed. Again, not super familiar with these avionics. How they work, what they need, and what they expect. Okay, should be going back left here. Lost some more speed, that's good. Come down a little bit more on throttle. Keep coming down. Coming down to 160. Gauges look okay. About to turn left to 240. I think the final runway heading was 241, but that's okay. We want to be... Okay, good. We want to be at Hamp at 2600, and then Colby at... so this is speed knots. I want to be at Colby at 17 and around 100 knots. Alright, where the heck is it? Are we crabbing in? Is that what's going on here? Okay, that must be the Speedway complex right there, I'm guessing. But now Now I don't see the runway. Oh, there's some lights. Well, there's some lights, but it looks like I'm... Huh. Maybe I'm just still too far out to have good visibility on the runway. I gotta trust that it's right over there somewhere. That's gotta be the speedway right there, right? Alright, we're at Hamp. Coming up on Hamp here. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and drop our gear. That's gonna prove... Oh, hang on. Our gear didn't go down. Landing gear warning horn on. Okay. I think we need to slow down more for gear to deploy. There it goes. Landing gear deployed. Okay, I think I see the runway now. That's it right there. Okay, there's just no lights leading into it. A little right rudder here. And what's going on with my altitude? I think we're okay, but that definitely brought us down on the old speed front quite a lot. Okay, ignore. That's weird. Let's bring up the power a little bit, and let's go ahead and take off autopilot and hand fly it in from here. Got a green light on the gear. Do not lower landing gear or landing flaps when airspeed exceeds 112. We're doing okay. Just manipulating the throttle here. So my current track is 2.6. So I want to turn to a 2.4, but I think what's going on there is I'm just crabbing. So I think we're okay. Got a crosswind. Just a little external shot of landing gear deployed. Very nice. Maybe we can even set up for a screenshot here. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's take the gamble. Wow. Screenshot grabbed. Print screen. Oop, no, 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 no. Don't do it again. Crap, now I gotta do it again. Screenshot grabbed. End. End. Okay, where's my runway? There it is. Coming in manually here. Airspeed is 130. Let's come off on the throttle a little bit. What's my altitude? We wanted to be at 1700 coming up on Colby. We're still too high here, so let's come down some. Significantly too high, actually. I'm way off on the throttle. Give us some nose up trim. It's going to help us reduce our speed. And then when we get to around 110, we'll put flaps down. Yeah, feeling better now. Okay, we're still about 200 feet high, but looking okay. And if we look back at the descent profile, runway was like 800 feet, so I think we're looking okay. Go ahead and put our flaps down. We'll produce a little bit of lift, help us maintain the slower airspeed. Down nose trim now. Remember that we don't flare this airplane. We got to land it nose wheels first. And I'm not sure exactly how long this runway is, but this thing gets super unwieldy on the ground. So chances are that when I get to the ground, I'm going to be careening all over the place because this thing's really hard to control on the ground. So I need to try to land as slowly as possible is what I think the secret is. Okay, I'm a little off target left and a little low. No, okay, 2 white, 2 red. I'm good on glide path. I just need to now get on the right vector. So we'll a little high now. 3 white, 1 red. Anything I kind of want to be 3 red, 1 white. Okay, one more time. Let's try this. That's so dangerous. Alright. That's so cool. There's the racetrack I was just at. Alright. Come on down, baby. 3 white. A little bit more. Let's come off the power a tad. Try to land at like 80 or so knots, or miles per hour. Okay, looking okay. 3 white, 3 red. We're gonna land it short, kind of short, on purpose. So I want to land it slow, and I want all the runway for managing this on-ground craziness that this thing has. All right, let's just fall out of the sky. Whoa, goodness! Bounce. It's just nothing like the others. And right off the runway. Okay, no problem. Using that rudder. Using that rudder. Using that rudder. And let's get this wheel on the ground. I think my lockout is still on. It is. Okay. Sworn I had a button mapped on this thing. Oh, that I do. Okay, good. We're gonna take this turn off here. And how about that? We got there. Not the prettiest of landings, but man, none of them ever are in this airplane. I have not figured out how to elegantly land this thing. But I feel like if you excuse the bounce, like the approach was good, the speed was right. Now the big decision to make, and again, I want you guys to try to make it for me. Let me know in the comments whether I should fly this thing all the way from Atlanta to Dallas, or to, not Dallas, excuse me, Atlanta to Vegas in a 10.5-hour marathon of a flight. Might have to break it up into 2, I don't know. It's going to be hard to fit in with busy life schedules. But I'm down to do it if I can figure out a day to do it. Alright, let's look at clearances over here. Do I have room? Yeah, I think I do. So cool, there's the speedway. Just turning my wiper by mistake. Parked here alongside these boys, just like we belong. Nice. Okay, so what we'll do first is go back to our seated position here. We'll have the chocks put in. Boink. And brakes are on, chocks are in. We'll confirm visually the chocks are on. They are. And let's go ahead and turn off our lights. And then why don't we go ahead and bring down our mixture and throttle and power for number 2, and disable that magneto. Confirm we have number 2 shutdown and number 1 shutdown. Very nice. Okay. Turn our pitot off. Go ahead and hook up a battery cart. And we'll open up for Mr. Busher and Mr. Keselowski to get out and go finish 33rd and 9th. So that is this one done. Boink, boink. So now it's just Atlanta to Vegas, 10.5-hour flight. So got to make my mind up if I want to do that. This one was about 2.5. So we got to figure out whether I want to do this or not. What was the distance on this bad boy for next time? Where do I see the distance? Where does it show the distance? Calculate. 1,543 miles. Oof. Dim's a long way. Not so sure about that, guys. Well, again, I'll obey the vote, okay, and I'll figure out how to make it happen, when to make it happen. But that's a long way. And then after that, we got Phoenix and Bristol. I guess it's Atlanta to Vegas, and then Vegas to Phoenix. That's a short little hop. But then Phoenix to Bristol, that's a long flight. So hopefully these guys get better and we can get them some faster planes, some jets. But hope you enjoyed this silly little series. I hope you guys are having fun with it. I am. It's fun to fly the DC-3. I just don't think I want to do it for 10.5 hours. But anyway, let me know if you like the series. Let me know whether I should fly the DC-3 all the way across the country in the comments. Thank you very much, guys, for watching, and see you next time.